Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is January 5th of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears the CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage a Chinese, Iranian, and/or Russian offensive targeting one or more locations around the world on the date of January 6th of 2026, specifically to trigger all-out World War III. Really briefly, in respect to the numerology, so the date of January 6th, aside from being the sixth day of the year, and of course you have the Israeli star, which has 6 points, the number January 6 is 16, which is 16, which is found in the logo of the CIA star. It has 16-point star. So tomorrow, January 6, is essentially the CIA's day and Israel's day, numerologically and symbolically speaking. And therefore, they plan to trigger World War III on this particular numerology. With the United States Armed Forces based attack on Caracas and subsequent kidnapping of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on the morning of January 3rd of 2026, this was the catalyst, the motive, the impetus for this impending attack, which is going to be allegedly motivated by oil. So in the event of a secondary oil-related event on the date of January 6th, it would mark two such events in 4 days, which equates to letter X. 2 and 4 is 24, equates to letter X in the English alphabet, which is the international symbol of death, because this impending attack on January 6th and alleged response to the United States seizing the world's largest oil reserves is going to trigger World War III, and all-out nuclear World War III is going to start on January 6th. And the catalyst for nuclear attacks is going to be, so the United States takes out Maduro, seizes Venezuela's oil production, and then now China, Iran, or Russia are going to act, allegedly. And then this is going to start a chain reaction, which is going to end in the mutually assured destruction scenario, whereby the United States and NATO nations are nuking Russia, and Russia is nuking the United States and or the European Union. So firstly, in respect to China, the date of January 6th marks exactly 4,681 days since Xi Jinping became president of China back on March 14th of 2013. Of course, this number features the number 61 or 16, which is in the date of January 6th. But most importantly, it features the number 141 and 81. So 41 is found in the motto of Switzerland, all for one, one for all. And then we have the number 81, which is the Swiss National Day, the birth of Switzerland on August 1st. So in Chinese offensive, an attack is expected. So what the CIA is going to do is they're going to stage a Chinese attack targeting one or more oil-rich countries around the world. This could be Venezuela, who's the number one. This could be the United States, possibly Alaska, which is 9th in the world oil reserves. Nigeria, which is 11th. We know that China is very active in Africa. It could be Somalia with the 13th largest oil reserves, or it could be Brazil with the 16th largest oil reserves. Coincidentally, I just published a report a few days ago for a Chinese attack targeting Pemex. Pemex is the state-owned oil production manufacturer for Mexico, and the CIA was planning on staging a Chinese attack targeting Pemex-related infrastructure in the Gulf of Mexico and in Mexico proper. In reality, this is likely going to be a false flag attack with with Taiwanese troops dressed up as Chinese troops, but it could be a real-world Chinese attack, which is highly unlikely, but it's likely going to be Taiwanese troops dressed in Chinese outfits targeting Venezuela, Alaska, Nigeria, Somalia, and or Brazil. Obviously, other countries could be targeted, but those are the most likely. Secondly, The CIA is going to stage a Russian offensive on the date of January 6 of 2026, specifically to trigger World War III, likely targeting, again, one or more oil-rich nations. Coincidentally, the date of January 6 of 2026 marks exactly 4,992 days since Vladimir Putin became president of Russia back on May 7th of 2012. Of course, this number has the number 49 twice. 49 equates to DI as in die, and then of course the number 42 or 24 equates to the letter X, which is the international symbol of death, which would be found in the secondary action. So if the CIA stages the kidnapping of Maduro on January 3rd, and then there's a secondary event on January 6th, that would make two such events in 4 days, 24, which is reflected in the Putin numerology. So exactly where the CIA is going to stage a Russian attack on the date of January 6th of 2026 is obviously not known, but Iraq has the fourth largest oil reserves in the world. And we know that Russian troops are currently stationed in Syria, and so a alleged Russian attack targeting Iraq's oil-related infrastructure, Baghdad and or United States Armed Forces bases in Iraq is expected. The CIA previously tried to stage a alleged Russian attack targeting Canadian oil-related infrastructure in Canada, and of course previously also in Alaska, which is Canada is the fifth largest oil reserves in the world, and Alaska is the United States is the ninth. The name is skipping my brain right now, but I believe it's called the, what is it called? It's on the northern slope of Alaska. Anwar, that Trump recently opened up, has a huge oil reserve, so possibly a false flag Russian attack targeting Anwar is expected. Also, Libya, 10th largest oil reserves in the world, possibly targeting those. And or Syria, which is the 34th largest oil reserves in the world. Russia already has troops there. Coincidentally, I just published yesterday for a report for a Russian attack targeting British petroleum-related oil and gas-related infrastructure in the North Sea. In reality, it's highly unlikely that Putin would actually target one or more oil-rich countries on the date of January 6th, but it's highly likely that the CIA would stage a Ukrainian attack wearing Russian troops' uniforms and then blame it on Russia. Coincidentally, just a few days ago, I published a report for a massive false flag attack, which would be targeting Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Germany, and Ukraine, using all these Ukrainian troops dressed as Russian, and they would be parachuted in behind NATO lines. And so a redux of that type of attack is expected, most likely targeting Iraq. Okay, lastly but not least is Iran. The CIA is going to stage an Iranian offensive on the date of January 6th of 2026, targeting one or more oil-rich countries. Coincidentally, the date of January 6th of 2026 marks exactly 527 days since Masoud Pezeshkian became president of Iran back on July 28th of 2024. Again, if we have the Maduro kidnapping on the 3rd, and we have an Iranian offensive targeting oil-rich countries on the 4th, that would be two such events in 4 days. This is found in the numerology of July 28th, 2024, and then of course 2 8s is 16, and that is the date of January 6th is 16, which is found again in the CIA star. 527. This of course has SS. 52 equals SS. And then it also marks 13,365 days since Ali Khamenei became the supreme leader of Iran back on June 4th of 1989. So exactly where the CIA will stage a Iranian military offensive on the date of January 6th of 2026 is obviously not known, but right across the Persian Gulf from Iran is is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which has the world's second largest oil reserves. And then next door to Iran, you have Iraq with the fourth largest oil reserves in the world, and then again across the Persian Gulf in the Middle East, you have United Arab Emirates with the sixth largest oil reserves in the world, and Kuwait next door with the seventh largest oil reserves in the world. And then of course you have Libya with the 10th largest oil reserves in the world. And I should mention Egypt as well. I forgot to write down exactly how much oil they have, but they also have a large amount of oil in North Africa. So coincidentally, a few days ago, I published a report, maybe a week ago, about an alleged Iranian-backed Houthi militia-based attack targeting oil and gas-related infrastructure in the Persian Gulf, which the aforementioned countries have billions, if not trillions of dollars worth of infrastructure that has been built up over the years, and basically the CIA is going to blow this shit up. Most likely, the Iranian offensive on the date of January 6th of 2026 is going to be executed by the Israeli Mossad, the Israeli Navy, the Israeli Air Force, and the Israeli Defense Forces, and subsequently blamed on Iran. So we can expect black masks, special forces with black masks, unleashing a wave of terror across the Middle East. And of course their faces are covered because they're Jews and they're Israelis, and they want to keep their identities hidden. So, although a full-scale invasion, bombing, or attack is expected targeting one or more of the aforementioned countries by China, Iran, or Russia, there is also the possibility that the CIA is just going to stage basically a rampage and take out a bunch of oil and gas-related infrastructure in order to trigger an oil crisis across the world as pretext for World War III. So some sort of massive bombardment by China, Iran, or Russia targeting one or more oil-related countries or oil-rich countries. So some sort of bombardment consisting of 9/11 style kamikaze suicide drone attacks, ballistic missile attacks, rocket attacks, or torpedo attacks. They may also stage some sort of storming and seizure of oil rigs, oil refineries, oil tankers, or other oil-related, gas and oil-related infrastructure. There's also the realistic possibility that the CIA, using satellite-based direct energy weapons, will begin to ignite oil rigs and oil wells across the Middle East or other oil-rich countries in order to create infernos, massive infernos, as pretext for massive black smoke, environmental disasters, and or oil spills. So January 6th is blinking red on every single level because the CIA has taken out the head of the world's largest oil reserves, and then this is going to domino into World War III in the next 24 to 48 hours, because the CIA is going to stage likely a false flag, but it's going to be blamed on China, Iran, or Russia. They may stage an attack by all three, targeting oil-rich countries in various locations around the globe. Coincidentally, I just published a video a couple days ago for a joint Chinese, Iranian, and Russian military offensive in the aftermath of these naval exercises in the Indian Ocean over the past few years. So some sort of major military offensive is planned for the date of January 6th, targeting one or more oil-rich countries around the world. Obviously, if that happens, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.